Hello and welcome back to the channel, folks. HeirofCarthage here, and this is an interesting battle that was submitted to me. This one is actually taking place on a mod called Land Battles with Capture Points. Some of you may already be familiar with this. I'm sure that Turin and others have probably delved into it, but this one's being developed by RTK Umaze and Slojira. Sorry if I said the name wrong in the first one. But yeah, they're working on it, and it basically... It says since it was first launched, land battle tournaments have always used custom settings rather than CA's default quick battle design, improving both game balance and quality. It says this mod builds on those innovations while providing a way to play land battles that's easier for casters, tournaments, and players. It says if you're already familiar with the mod, here's what's new, and they go through the updates. But essentially, I think they add in some maps, and it has like certain settings. And everything that goes into it, but let me see if I can find that. It says we use a capture point to accomplish certain goals, which basically means that there's attacking and white line rules, and so essentially when you put the capture point out here in the middle, I believe what they're going for is if someone wants to camp the white line or not engage, they're going to lose tickets and potentially lose the battle. So it's not a domination battle in the sense that there's 3 capture points and victory only comes through tickets. And you get reinforcements. There's none of that stuff. Like, there's no reinforcements coming through teleportals or anything else like that. But this, like you said, like they're mentioning here, I think it's just supposed to make it easier. Which means that if someone controls this capture point for 12 minutes, essentially, then they're going to win. Now, it does cause some damage to enemy units as they're trying to capture it. It's like a direct damage thing if we take a look at it here. So if you go and capture it, you're going to take a little bit of damage, but... anyway, it's just they also modified unit capture rates again, so it's not exactly the same as domination. There's embedded unit caps in the mode, which is cool. It says unit caps that improve on CA's defaults were important. So essentially, this is going to make it easier to know whether an army fits into the rule set and stuff like that. Anyway, hopefully you all get the point. This sounds really neat. I need to start playing some battles on this. I need to get my streams started back up soon, and we'll maybe start trying to play some battles on it. But this is going to be a 2v2. It's going to be Tic-Tac-Toe and his lizards, along with Crone Hellebron and her dark elves, going up against a Herald of Nurgle, along with his good old Uncle Furuncle here. And then the ogres, led by Greasus McGut over there. And it looks like this I'm going to call it the home team here has captured the point here. So Hellebron and Tic-Tac-Toe in control of it. They're gaining some tickets. However, the other team's not just sitting idly by. They're going to come and engage. I don't know if I can cover everything here army-wise, but essentially the Dark Elves have an absolute crapload of missile cavalry and heavy monster support here with a couple of War Hydras. Crone Hellebron, of course, is great support into a melee brawl because of her different crazy abilities that buff up the attack and damage and stuff that's going on around her. There is a little bit of infantry here in the form of these Blackguard. There's also some support cavalry, Cold Ones, Dark Riders, so mostly mobile for the Dark Elves, whereas the Lizards do have a little bit of infantry. It's going to be skink cohorts up along the front. Nothing major in the infantry front for the Lizards. There's Feral Cold Ones in the back. There's a Priest of Heaven supporting a bunch of Chameleon Skinks. Umbral Tide and Razor Dawn hunting packs, so a lot of skirmishing for the green team is what I call it. It's actually the blue and the green here. The red team, on the other hand, has a fairly heavy melee component, including for the ogres, like these crushers with great weapons, very powerful cavalry, though they'll want to be very careful of these crossbow cavalry, as it could rip them up. There are some Saber Tusk packs supporting, I like that. There's plenty of Nobbler trappers. There's Plague Drones for Nurgle as well, to be able to go over the main lines. The Herald of Nurgle is supporting, he's got a Plague Ridden with Death here, so lots of magic there for Nurgle. So, yeah, anyway, let's kind of keep an eye on the battle. It's going to be rather large. I'm going to give you kind of a quick, big overhead view. We do also have the Spirit of Teapot here for the Lizards. Now, remember that can actually make certain units have the stalk trait when they're inside the little circle of influence that unit has when it's flying. It has to be up in the air flying. It can't be down attacking. When it's flying, it can make units have the stalk trait, which can be good. Look at this. These Hydras getting in here and ripping up Uncle Furuncle, but then the Hydras being hit by Festering Stooges, Exalted Plague Bearers, Marauder Horsemen. Just tremendous amount of missile firepower coming in here. Hydras have a lot of hit points. They're tough to take down. They are taking a lot of damage there. So a brutal melee fight ensuing right now. Look at the crossbow cavalry pushing the Crussers back, and the plague drones being sent in to kind of hold that fight, to cover the retreat. Big bombardment here. That's going to be from the Fire Sorceress of the Dark Elves. Didn't quite hit a whole lot, but it did do a little bit of damage there, that Iron Fist. Remember that the piercing bolts of burning can actually cause some pretty significant damage to units, like even single entities if it hits them. Burning Head here goes just a little off target, I think. I don't remember who cast that one. I don't think it was the Sorceress, because it's mostly their own units, so there must be some fire magic here on the side of the Ogres. They might have a Fire Belly that I just haven't caught yet. Or Nurgle. No, Nurgle shouldn't have that one. But yeah, so there's probably a Fire Belly around for the Ogres. Lure of Fire is pretty darn good in these big battles. I mean, unless that was just a miscast from the Fire Sorceress, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, it's good at blob busting and can do a lot of damage. I have not seen a Fire Belly yet. That doesn't mean that one doesn't exist. Oh yeah, there he is. Okay, so there is a Fire Belly. That's what I assumed. He's got 117 kills too. He's gotten some damage done. So there's gonna be a lot of Lure of Fire. Ooh, that skink. That comet actually shredded the Fire Belly. I didn't know that could happen. So that skink with the Lure of Heavens there did some damage, and then a bombardment follow up by the Fire Sorceress. So a brutal battle ensuing right now. Again, I'm trying not to get too close in some areas so you all can kind of see what's going on. In the middle, there's significant force here for Greasus. In fact, Crone Hellebron is now going to end up facing off against Greasus. Greasus is pretty potent. Hellebron's good against infantry-sized units, but we all know that Greasus is not a small unit. He is rather large, so Crone Hellebron trying to get away from that, and that makes sense for her to try and get out of there. There's a Herald of Nurgle nearby there as well. Not a super potent melee unit, but pretty tough here. It's a good hybrid caster. So anyway, Tic-Tac-Toe is in the back, helping to clean up any enemy cavalry that's coming after the crossbow cavalry. It looks like this one was a Marauder Horseman in a desperate attempt to silence all that crossbow cavalry and Razor Dawn packs, but the Skirmish contingent still going strong here. Look at this Umbral Tide. Remember that this is a Regiment of Renown Salamander hunting pack, and they are very good against large from range, so they will destroy large targets, and then a lot of armor piercing on these crossbows, so easy for the Dark Elves to cause considerable damage, and very good speed on the crossbows as well. So this is a very dangerous skirmishing contingent. It is taking a toll. A lot of fire coming in here. Uncle Furuncle is taking the worst of that. Though Crone Hellebron now is trapped in a fight that she probably doesn't want to be in. It's not going to go great. One of the Hydras is about to rout, though. It's surrounded by enemies. Yeah, Crone Hellebron's just kind of stuck here in the middle of this giant monster fight. I don't know if she's going to be able to find her way out of that or not. Big brawl up in there. So let me zoom out again and show you what's going on. So the balance of power shows a little bit in favor of the green side here. I tend to believe that just because of the number of skirmishers. Look at all these chameleon skinks. Those are brutal. The crossbow cavalry, also brutal. The Umbral Tide is still alive. That other Razor Dawn hunting pack's still alive. The Razor Dawns can cause pretty significant damage. You still have the Plague Ridden back here. And you have these single entities with Greasus and the Herald. Uncle Furuncle did go down. The Festering Stooges are still here, but I'm pretty sure that the red team's probably just about to take a whole bunch of skirmishing right to the face. And it's going to put it into it. Greasus is under some fire right now. He's also fighting Crone Hellebron. I don't think Crone Hellebron's going to like this fight for very long. She might get away with it momentarily, but I'm guessing that she's going to get punched in the face here, especially with those Stooges coming in. Nice bombardment. Did a little bit of damage to Greasus there. That was a good bombardment by the Fire Sorceress, because you had the Stooges nearby as well. Yeah, there's some infantry left, but Nurgle is just going to get shot to bits here. Yeah, there's Crone Hellebron now taking some big hits in that fight, but Greasus is also taking some hits. He's being attacked by that skink priest. Small but mighty, I guess, in that case. So here comes the Herald of Nurgle on his disgusting throne, being carried by Nurglings, plowing into combat. Again, decent melee combatant here. And there's not a whole lot of super heavy stuff here for the green team. So that Herald of Nurgle will get some work done in that melee, but I think that the green team just has to back up and shoot the Herald, and then they pretty easily win. Oh, look at the Umbral Tide. It looks like they're going to have a line on Greasus. Let's check that out. If the Umbral Tide starts getting a hold of Greasus, it's going to be over real fast. Look at that Spirit of Teapot coming in after those Nobbler Trappers. And then here comes Tic Tac. Yeah, Tic Tac's going to be very potent here. But, I mean, Greasus is going to hit hard against him. Here comes another bombardment from that Fire Sorceress. This is going to hurt Greasus. And then you've also got the Umbral Tide. Yep. Oh, man, he's going to get shredded. Ouch. Yeah, Greasus got absolutely jacked up in that exchange. And that's just further swinging the power bar over here, so... Nice hit there on the Exalted Plague Bearers from the Comet. Anyway, fun battle. Lots of stuff going on here. I actually really like the format. The idea of the capture point means that no one can just sit back. If someone controls it for the 12 minutes, they win. So at some point, someone's going to have to attack and do something. So I love how it takes away kind of the forced attacker-defender nature of it. The unit caps are built in. This is a cool mod. I'll make sure and have a link to it in the description, so make sure you go check it out. And honestly, I'll see if I can talk to my mods over on the Discord to make sure. I know we have Warhammer 3 multiplayer sections, I believe, but I'll make sure we have a section where if you all want to come join, I have a link to my Discord. It's free to join. You can find people to play with. If you all want to come try this multiplayer mod, we'll have a place set up over there, so go check the link to the Discord, the link to the mod. You can get those if you want to try it. I'll try and get some streams done this next week and try this out as well, because this looks really neat. I like this. Seems like a cool addition, and I appreciate the work that the modders are doing on it again. It was RTK Umaze and Slojira, and apologize if I'm pronouncing the RTK member's name wrong, which I certainly am. But I really like this. Really interesting addition to the game, and a cool way to try and breathe some life into the multiplayer, and maybe even give CA some ideas in terms of things that the player base might actually want to see from the multiplayer standpoint. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this one. Let's go check out the post-battle screen. We can see it's going to go there, so let's end the replay and check out the stats here. See who was king. Big Richard, so we had Falcon here, the legendary Falcon. Taking in the Dark Elves. Let's see how he did. Oh man, he got some serious value out of Hellebron, even though she did not get a ton of kills. That is a lot of gold value. Nice work with those Hydras. Those were kind of interesting hit point tanks that stayed in that fight. They got their breath attacks off as well. Good value out of the Blackguard, and then solid value here out of that Fire Sorceress as well. And then that Cavalry, woo, they were getting some work done. All of them well over 1,000, some of them 1,500. The Knights did a pretty good job here, basically paying for themselves, and then it's pretty easy to pay for Dark Riders as well. So very efficient army there for the Dark Elves. And then Big Richard here with the Sentinels of Zeddy. So nice damage here on the Skink of Heavens. And then Tic Tac didn't get a ton, but was flying around making his presence felt. Let's check out the Umbral Tide. That unit got some of that value for sure off of Greasus. Nice value on the Razordon pack. Chameleon Skinks I love. They are just such good units. Very skirmishy build, but it works out in this case. They basically, the enemy can't let them take the capture point, and so they build the skirmishy thing, which did kind of fall apart. But let's be fair, they're playing against Nurgle, and Nurgle's slow, so bringing a lot of skirmish stuff in some ways makes sense. The Ogres are not totally susceptible to the skirmish because of like Sabertuck's packs, but with Nurgle mixed in there, I think it was just enough that this skirmish build ended up working out well. Slojira here, he got some good work in with that Fire Belly. It took me a while to even see where that thing was at, but it was definitely well done. Not a lot of value out of the Crushers with great weapons. Expensive Cav, they just kind of ended up being the wrong pick here, which, sucks for them. There were certainly targets there they could have done damage to, like the Hydras. They just were never going to get the opportunity without getting absolutely splattered by all the missiles back there. And then the Trappers are a cool pick. I always like the Trappers, and then just some Ogre Infantry. And then for Nurgle, these were tanky units here. The Plague Ridden of Death, and then the Herald of Nurgle. Uncle Furuncle got some pretty serious damage in. And the Festering Stooges did okay, especially considering, I think, the position that they were left in. This Exalted Plague Bearer got some value there as well. Anyway, hope you all... Oh, let's check those Horsemen. Yeah, both these Horsemen did well for their cost also. Hope you enjoyed it. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I will be back with some more action soon in Total War Warhammer 3 and, of course, in Total War Rome 2 as well, so keep an eye out for that. See you then.